18.
Second, Mr. O'Leary. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Article 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. Do all of them at once?
Yes, sir.
To recommend?
Mr. Chairman, I move to recommend Articles 19 through 26.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. All in favor? Discussion first, any? None? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Article 27, this is proposed by whom? Oh, this is Linda Smith.
Sean.
Where are we with this?
Sorry.
We're waiting to hear back
Sorry.
from Mrs. Smith's attorney.
Okay, so this will be a recommendation to be made at town meeting? Yes? No?
Yes. Mr. Chairman, I move to make a recommendation, Article 27 at town meeting.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. Yule. Discussion? Mr. Yule?
I think Mr. Delaney made a very good point in some correspondence. I think it was a little bit more clear and had a better understanding of what he was saying. And if I understood correctly, that's what we're going back with to the Smith, Linda Smith with, that little bit of a clarification.
For attorney, right?
Yeah,
The attorney.
with the attorney, I'm sorry.
All right, so we'll, in a few weeks. Article 28. Do we
Hold on,
vote
we have to make a vote.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Motion was to recommend a town meeting and seconded, right?
That's correct.
I second
All in
it.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Unanimous. Article 28. Rescind the vote of April 1987 annual town meeting. Quinn bill. Is this recommendation or a recommendation to be made at town meeting?
This is an interesting article. Because there's no longer any funding at the state level for Quinville. I think the discussion needs to be had, does it really make sense for us to then still have Quinville? I'm not saying there shouldn't be some educational incentive for our offices, but if there's no funding at the State House level, then this is worthy of discussion here at this table as to should we move forward with this warrant article. Because I don't foresee, in my lifetime, the state putting one more dollar back into funding municipalities. And that's unfortunate, another unfunded mandate. So I think it's worthwhile to have this discussion here.
Well, I think, I'm in support of this for the following reason. I'd like to get our police union back to the table on this issue. Currently, under the state law, any new police officer that comes on board isn't available for educational benefit. And it would seem to me that rescinding this and sitting down and negotiating in good faith some form of affordable educational bill that would cover our existing and our new offices is what we should be doing. That's where I am on it.
I agree with you. And they have been doing that. I mean, we have met with Local 25. They've been meeting with us, and we've had discussions on this. And we meet again, I think, on the 3rd of May. And hopefully, we will continue to have positive progress.
So I guess,
Mr. Chair?
Interesting day to meet.
Mr. Yule.
If I may ask, I'm not sure if I'm understanding, we're looking at rescinding the acceptance of it.
Right.
So.
which eliminates
it
our
eliminates the
obligation
Quinn
under General Law, Chapter 41, Section 108.
bill. Just to the Quinn bill. That doesn't change that we can't come up with a plan, an educational plan.
No, it would be our own plan.
I mean, that's the route that we're going.
Well.
Now, if I recall, the benefit in not rescinding it is that just in case the state were to,
Well, I think they sent the clear message
I understand. that.
Zero.
I understand. I'm just reviewing past conversations that we've had. So I'm just making sure that I include everything in my thought process here. But if we can, if we rescind this, we can still come up with an educational program. So I think, Sean, your question is whether this should be a warrant article at all?
No, I said this is very worthy of discussion this evening, and I'd be in favor of it.
Jeff, I
Well,
think that, if you look at the legislation that was passed, right? Any new police officer,
Right.
right, even if you've the town has adopted the Quinn Bill, right, is ineligible for it. So, from that perspective, it makes sense to create a new plan.
I concur with that.
But if we rescind it
Just
and we
wanted to
don't
make sure
have a new
the
plan,
wording was,
we still are obligated to meet the obligations under our current contract.
Well, I'm not sure of that.
Yeah.
No,
it-
it's true.
Yeah, we would still be obliged to pay our officers that are currently covered under the Quinn Bill until they retire.
Right.
What the contract says.
so are you talking about our 50% versus the 100%?
Contract, if we reach no settlement, what do you do?
I don't believe that rescinding the prior action gets you off the hook for what you were obligated for because we were covered
Right.
by the Quinn Bill. So those officers that are currently enjoying the benefits under the Quinn Bill, those benefits would continue to be enjoyed until they retired.
Except not,
But then, as you pointed out, the legislation that was passed last year, any new hire after July 1st of last year is not eligible for Quinn Bill benefits, and any officer who is not enrolled in a qualified program as of a certain date, which was
Right.
last April, I think, is no longer eligible. So we've pretty much maxed out our obligation under the Quinn Bill as we sit here today. And it's declining from here on in, as far as the number of people that can participate. We may be blazing a new trail here. I'm not aware of any other community that has rescinded this yet. So again, before we make a recommendation, I would seek the advice of council as to what town council's thoughts are as to what this action might actually do.
That's
You know,
reasonable. thing
so
to
that,
do.
before we make any recommendation, I think we need to make a more informed decision. And I don't have nearly any of the answers that I'd like to have
me either.
before we
Okay.
make a recommendation.
So,
But I'm hoping we're successful in trying to work out something through our ongoing
In
negotiations.
the meantime, discussions during negotiations have partially centered on Quinn Bill and/or some other type of educational type of benefits offered by the town going forward.
And Local 25 has been very open to meeting with us and continue to have these discussions, and we appreciate it very much.
okay, with that, then I'll entertain a motion to be, recommendation to be made at town meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I move to recommend at town meeting Article 28.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Number 29, accept MGL Chapter 32B or other enabling legislation for health insurance. Mr. Bellacons.
Purpose of this article, you'll recall that Speaker DeLeo submitted a proposal to modify municipal health insurance. As part of that, there was language that was ingrained that said it had to be accepted by town meeting. We do not know ultimately what the final result of that legislation will be, but if we don't have an article on the warrant, we may very well have missed that opportunity.
So I'll entertain a motion for a recommendation to be made at town meeting unless there's some reason that someone objects to the article altogether. Mr. Prisco.
Mr. Chairman, I move to recommend at town meeting Article 29.
Make a
Motion by,
Make a recommendation.
Hold our recommendation until town meeting, right?
motion by
Second.
Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. Delaney. Discussion further? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Unanimous? Article 30, Chapter 23, Animals. This I'm totally unfamiliar with. Who's proposing this?
Simply removes the fee schedule for dog licensing puts it under the town bylaws versus, under the town clerk's fee schedule versus under the town bylaws. Where it's under the bylaw right now, it requires approval of the Attorney General. So this makes it a much simpler process.
Are we proposing a fee change?
Not at this time.
So this is just a change.
More of a housekeeping matter.
What are the wishes of the board?
I would say
I would
recommend.
recommend.
Yeah.
Mr. Prisco.
Mr. Chairman, I move to recommend Article 30.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Article 31?
Article 31 simply changes the date for submission of warrant articles for the June town meeting to the third Monday in March from the third Tuesday in January. And that's consistent with the change authorizing that the annual town meeting be held.
And it's a
first
town
Monday in
bylaw,
June.
it's not a charter
right.
issue. Okay.
That's right.
What are the wishes of the board to recommend?
Yep.
Mr. Prisco?
Mr. Chairman, I move to recommend Article 31.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? I think that's it. That was easy. Next Monday, we'll go and assign who's gonna cover each article.
We're done for executive.
We have executive session?
Yes. I believe the board has some business to do.
Yes.
Yeah, right, yeah. No, do you have anything else?
Not under open session.
No, but I mean, do you have executive session?
I do.
Okay. How should we word?
Do we want to go around the table?
I would suggest that it be
Yeah,
worded
we'll do that.
for the purposes of,
Should probably go around the table.
I'll just give everyone an opportunity to.
Thanks, Joe.
We're gonna just do a quick old and new business, in case you're running out, because we're gonna go into executive session.
You can leave it open, but you can leave.
Thanks,
Bill.
So where were we? I'm sorry.
I'll give you a motion.
Okay. Well, Steve, old new business,
Well
anything?
said.
Michael?
I am looking forward to joining everyone tomorrow, going to the Coalition Legislative Breakfast. I am looking forward to that. The only thing I really have is I want to make one thing clear. I brought up with the Ocean State job lot at our last meeting, and for some reason or another, the way the transcript had written the article with the headline, people have been calling and writing me letters, very upset with me, leaving me very nasty voicemails, and very upset because it kind of implied to them that I brought Ocean State job lot to North Reading.
You didn't?
So,
You didn't?
I want to make it clear. My goal and objective for that meeting was to actually do the reverse of that, and I was not successful in doing that, so I apologize, I did try. But I want to make sure people understand that I'm not saying at all I'm in favor of it. Matter of fact, I've asked for them, Stop and Shop and Ocean State Job Lot, to come to town, and rather not hear it from me, how I feel about it is to come to the community and allow them to hear from you about what is it you're bringing, and allow them to have an opportunity to voice their opinion of it. And they've been willing to do that. I haven't heard that they haven't turned their opinion around on that. And I am still waiting to get a date, and once I do, I will make sure it's public. But I do appreciate the calls and the emails, some of them not so much, but I want people to know my position on this, because, and if you do read the article, I think it kind of tells you where I stand on it. But I am not in favor of it. I don't think it is the best thing for our community, but that's my personal opinion. But I hope my opinion changes when they give me an opportunity to go to the meeting and listen to what they have to say and ask some questions. And I really hope the community does show up. Thank you.
Just in relation to that, I've been getting an awful lot of comments about it also. I think every member of the board probably has. And again, it certainly is not would not have been our first choice, or probably our 21st choice, as far as the use of that particular parcel for that particular business. Unfortunately, the zoning does allow for it. The only opportunity that we